We are living in a very peculiar time when video editors are often earning more than an average software engineer. But most of the video editors are still earning zero money. And that is because, unlike traditional careers like software engineering or something else, there is no given curated path to become a professional video editor or at least get freelance clients. And although internet is really booming and there are thousands of new video editors on the market, most of them, like 99% of them, are making little to no money because they don't know how to get their first client, or they did not really give enough experience into the craft, and for some reason they are stuck in that loophole of being a beginner video editor. You don't need to do that anymore, because in this video I'm going to tell you how exactly you can become a professional video editor in 2025, or at least become a freelancer and start earning your own money. Now, for the sake of this video, I'm assuming you know absolutely nothing about video editing and you also have a laptop if you're actually serious about a career in video editing. Now, to start off, the most important thing that people will tell you to choose is the video editing software, but I think the starting point should be the type of videos that you're going to be editing. Whether you will be editing long form educational videos, long vlogs, or short form videos, trendy reels, or something like that, you need to be very picky about what you want to do. Now keep in mind, you are going to be investing a lot of time and a lot of effort into all of this, so don't just look at money, because long form videos of course pay you more than short form videos, but they require much more experience and much more effort as well. So don't just look at the money, also look at what kind of videos do you actually enjoy watching or do you enjoy making, and then you can pinpoint and narrow down all the things that you actually need to learn so that you can reach the first client even faster. Now next on the list is, which software do you pick? Now, as I said, I am assuming that if you're serious about a career in video editing, you have an above average laptop. If you're using Windows, the most obvious choices are the Adobe Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve. If you are using a MacBook, however, you can also use Final Cut Pro, which is a very amazing software, to be honest. But if you want to go into much complex and advanced stuff like motion graphics, 3D rendering, 3D tracking, camera tracking, and all of those things, you might go into Maya, Blender, or Adobe After Effects. Those things are much more complex compared to the basic video editing that we do, but they also pay much more. But that is not something I would recommend a beginner to get started with, because it is a very steep learning curve which will take you a lot of time and a lot of effort to get started. But now, talking about the different editing softwares that are available on the market and why DaVinci Resolve is the best choice. So firstly, talking about the other options, the Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro, both are paid softwares. Adobe is a paid subscription based software. That means you have to pay them monthly to keep using Premiere Pro. And if you're using Mac, I also assume that you have enough money to put into Final Cut Pro. But if you're using Windows, you might actually end up pirating the Adobe softwares, which will also mean that they will crash a lot on you. But other than that, they're pretty good softwares. But talking about DaVinci Resolve, they have almost all the capabilities that Adobe Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro has, and on top of that, it is the industry grade software that is used to color grade even Hollywood level feature films. But if you're not using color grading much in your workflow, using Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere Pro is absolutely fine. There are also much more complex workflows as well. There are people who will edit their videos in Premiere Pro and then take the XML file and color grade it in DaVinci Resolve. Those things are really possible, but don't need to worry about that to start off with. If you're a beginner, I would highly recommend DaVinci Resolve because it is a free software. You don't need to pirate it, and their paid version is also one single pay away, but you don't really need to worry about that. The free version of DaVinci Resolve is amazing to start with. Now let's talk about the learning roadmap. How exactly are you going to learn? So in my opinion, you can get good enough to land your first client in like 2 to 3 months of rigorous editing. Initially, do not buy any paid courses to learn editing, to learn the software. Learning editing is different, but learning the software, do not buy any paid courses. There are beautiful 1 hour, 2 hour, even 5 hour beginner courses available for free on YouTube. Just pick any one of them and start learning. If you actually invest the 2 to 3 hours or 5 hours into that video and actually practice the things, actually follow along with the tutorials, you will have all of your basics clear about the new software. software that you have picked. And then, as I always say, you have to build projects. In this case, you have to edit more videos. So according to whichever genre you have picked, take some raw footages from the internet and try editing them. If you don't find raw footages, you can make your own footages and make your own content as well. And look at the good creators who are already in that niche, who are making these videos really well. You try to copy their style, and through that process of taking inspiration and copying them, you'll understand and you'll learn the video editing, the craft. You'll understand a lot more things which are not visible to the normal eye, but when you're actually analyzing and breaking down the edit and trying to replicate it, you'll understand a lot more. So you keep doing this for 2 to 3 months, you are at a pretty good stage and you are finally ready for your first client. Now, getting your first client is not just about video editing, it is also about outreach, it is also about positioning, it is also about offers, and it is also about many more different things. So let's break them down. First things first, there are two ways that you can get your first client. One is outreach, that is basically you going to them and telling them that I do this, I can do this for you, hire me. You can do this through Instagram DMs, LinkedIn DMs, or straight up emails. Now, how to do each of these things very optimally? Now, these are subject to experimentation, but if you want to get a head start, you should always talk more about what you can do for them and how you can make their life easier. Because as a client, like when a video editor is reaching out to me, I don't really care about what your portfolio looks like, what you are gaining out of this. As a client, I'm looking for how can you make my life easier? How can you make my time more valuable, or how you can save me time? So always focus more on that when you're reaching out on DM or email or anywhere. So this is one way of getting your client. This is also called outbound because you are reaching out. Now the second way is when the client reaches out to you, aka inbound clients. How will they reach out to you? Because they first need to see your work. Now this part actually requires you to build a personal brand, or even if you don't want to build a personal brand, it requires you to put your work online so that other people can see and be like, oh, I need this guy to edit my videos, this guy does really good work, I need him. And this is honestly a better thing to do because one, you build a personal brand, which is probably the best thing you can build in 2025. Secondly, outbound is hard to scale. To send 1,000 emails, you have to actually like put in a lot of effort, but inbound is very easily scalable. You put out a reel, and if it blows up, millions of people are going to see it. You do not really have to put in any extra effort into getting that reel to be seen by more people. So whenever you get an outbound or an inbound client, get them on a discovery call, you get on a meet and finally talk about their requirements, your skill sets, and how both of you can work together. But at the end is the crux of it all, the offer, because that is when they decide to pay you. What exactly do you quote? How exactly do you package your offer? If you want to understand more about these things, Alex Hormozy has written a beautiful book called 100 Million Offers. You should definitely read it. And honestly, if you read that book, you will understand a lot more about offers. You don't really need any other resources to make your offers any more better. And after you got your first client, you will generally need to build contracts as well, because in freelancing space, basically, it is not very uncommon for clients to take your work and then ghost you and all of those things. So it's always better to work with contracts and get them to sign their contracts with every single detail maintained on them. And if you don't know how to build a contract, you can look it up online. You can find contract templates for video editors, for freelance video editors, for production agencies, or any type of freelance work that you want to do. You can find templates of contracts on the internet. You can just reuse them, just read them through at least once. And at this point, I'm confident if you are starting to edit videos in January 2025, you can actually land your first client by April, June, or July. And then if you actually start working well, once you get one client, now that is a huge hurdle to cross. If you start working great for that client will start word to mouth. That client will tell other people that, okay, this guy is really good. If he has a friend who also needs a video editor, he'll tell, bro, this guy does great work for me, you can try him out. And that, my friend, is the best type of marketing that you can have as a video editor or any type of service provider, to be honest. So if you are planning to become a video editor in 2025, I hope you learned something new, and I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next one.